marketing it. We sat down with the disruptors behind Send Air to see how their approach to marketing may encourage you to spend more. For more, watch Your Business weekends at 7:30 on MSNBC.
Sponsored by American Express Open, helping you get business done.
Hate to play devil's advocate, but I feel like it's a game changer.
Knowing you'll have fun.
Are you there? He's probably on mute.
Yeah, I'm here on Monday.
Wow.
This is scary. What? Yeah.
It's not millennial enough.
There are a lot of ways to say no.
So what we're doing?
Yes, start saying yes to your company's best ideas. Let us help with money and know-how so you can get business done. American Express Open.
Type 2 diabetes? Listen up. You're not professional athletes. That doesn't mean you're keeping up.
I mean, this is for me.
For me, along with diet and exercise, Farxiga helps lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes, lowering A1C by up to 1.2 points.
Do not take it allergic to Farxiga. If you experience symptoms of a serious allergic reaction such as rash, swelling, difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking and seek medical help right away. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems, bone dialysis, or low bladder cancer. Tell your doctor right away if you have blood or red color in your urine. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, genital yeast infections and pneumonia, serious urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, and kidney problems. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have signs of ketoacidosis, which is serious and may lead to death.
I'm in this for my family.
I mean, this for me.
Ask your doctor about Farxiga. Learn how you can get it for free. If you can't afford the medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
There's nothing more important to me than my vacation. So when I need to book a hotel room, I want someone who makes it easy to find what I want.
Already.
Booking.com gets it. And with the price match, I know I'm getting the best price every time. Now I can start relaxing even before the vacation begins.
Your summer vacation is very important. That's why Booking.com has great offers up to 40% off now through July 4th. Find great deals now at Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Do you owe money to the IRS? I have over $18,000 in past time. You can't imagine this life. Sleepless nights, the anxiety, night at work, and first calling up to the tax relief. And once I was like up and stress was just all I can say is
It's great stories, great stories.
In this first hole.
We like to look good. Shop the brands you love. HSN. It's fun here. Shopping.
It is 11 a.m. out west and now 2 p.m. in the east. Tomorrow is Independence Day. Today we're talking about the president body slamming the media. Trump escalated his attack on the press with this edited WWE video. CNN logo covering his head. The video posted to the official Twitter account of the president has drawn outrage from critics who see it as a threat to journalists and beneath the dignity of the presidency. So our word of the day is presidential.
He seems so preoccupied with this stuff, this triviality, when there's a whole host of really important stuff out there that he should be doing.
I think that Donald Trump thinks that he's making jokes. I don't think that he realizes that as President of the United States, these jokes can have consequences.
he just comes off as too impulsive, like he's winging it, and the kind of crowd that he's playing to in these tweets are the sort of folks that actually don't believe in the sort of international deals and the kind of global social contract that America has been about in the past.
Trump calls his social media use modern-day presidential. Others say he's committing the office of presidency and threatening democracy. Let's debrief with our reporters and analysts. NBC's Ron Allen is in Florida, New Jersey, where the president is spending his 4th of July holiday. Niall Stanage, the columnist at The Hill, and Kelsey Snell is a congressional reporter for The Washington Post. Ron, let's start with you. The White House isn't backing down from these comments. This is a presidential statement from the president, essentially, or it is, because they called it that. The president body slamming a a CNN reporter, I guess we could call it.
Yeah, well, that's certainly the symbolism of it, Katie. You're right. They're not backing down. They're defending the president. At least they certainly were on the Sunday talk shows today. There was one tweet from the president that seemed to focus directly at the response from the media and others, condemning him for the tweet about CNN. The president's tweeting, at some point the fake news will be forced to discuss our great jobs numbers, strong economy, success with ISIS and the border, and so much. So with that, the president's been very busy this morning, at least in social media. And the question is whether this is a strategy, whether this is him, whether it's the staff. It's unclear. But there's been a variety of tweets. For example, he has tweeted out that he has been in contact on the phone with foreign leaders ahead of the G20 summit. Leaders of Italy, Germany, France, Saudi Arabia. There was a readout last night from the White House about calls he made to the leaders of China and Japan, all nations that will be participating in the summit at the end of the week. He's also tweeted out a message to a 10-month-old little boy in Great Britain who was fighting for his life, Charlie Gard, to say, saying that the United States would accept him if he wanted to come here for medical treatment. There was a huge case in the UK, and the doctors have prevented the family from bringing him here. President Trump is intervening, the Popes intervene. The president also is going to release from the White House about a phone call he had with a 101-year-old World War II veteran. So it's been a wide variety of stuff coming out of the White House. Again, whether this is the president, whether this is the staff trying to change the subject, whether this is random, who knows? But there are probably some people in the White House who are very glad that the video, the CNN video, the wrestling video, isn't playing as much as it was earlier today.
You know, you think that, but from the folks that I'm talking to, everyone seems really happy with this fight that Donald Trump is picking with the media. They believe that he needs to push back and that he's being treated unfairly, and they believe that this narrative ultimately works in their favor. Niall, Axios broke down the president's... Well, go ahead, Ron.
So it certainly plays to the base, Katie, that we know. And
that's always what they think.
Cheering him on. The question is, yeah, but it's, there's a big country out there. The question is, do they care if you can expand the base at all? Do they care about trying to get more support for some of these policies that they're having difficulty getting across the finish line, like healthcare, to name just a few? And that's why I say I think there are probably some people in the White House who want to turn the page away from this, and others, it feels to me, and I don't know this on a day-to-day basis, that there's probably a lot of conflict in there about exactly what to do and how to respond. There certainly seems to be a lot of conflict about how to manage the
fucking damn it.
in one direction or another.
No doubt about that, and I'm sure there are the question is, are there conversations about potentially expanding space within the White House, or is this just a White House that will end up focusing on that?
Settle down.
40% of people in the high end who agree with this president, that base that got him elected. Niall, Axios broke down the president's tweets by the number and found that for the month of June, a number of things were true. That Donald Trump essentially cared more about tax than he did about anything else. He tweeted 21 times about the media as opposed to 3 times he tweeted about infrastructure, jobs, technology, and energy, which were supposed to be the administration's themes of the month. So the White House on the one end is saying, hey, you guys aren't talking about policy, but the president isn't talking about policy all that much.
That's exactly right, Katie. We've seen this call from the president and from his various spokespeople saying, why aren't the media focused on policy? You know, come on, let's be real. You cannot tweet in the way that the president has been doing throughout his presidency, but particularly in the last few days, and expect those kind of incendiary comments not to be covered. And I think it's also interesting the president keeps on this thing about fake news, but let's talk about fake news. I think it's journalistically appropriate to do so and say, let's talk about a celebrity businessman who launched his political career by advancing the lie that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. Or let's talk about a president who sends out his press secretary on the first day to advance untruths about the size of his inauguration crowd. This idea that he keeps talking about, fake news, is frequently propagated by him and by people close to him.
And Kelsey, noticeably silent Republican lawmakers. That's how they reacted on the campaign trail, too, to anything from the latest inflammatory thing that Donald Trump would say, or the attack against Ted Cruz, or even the Access Hollywood tape, they would try to avoid reporters, say they don't agree with it, then they just move on, and ultimately many of the people who called for him to bow out of the race, to just quit, ended up voting for him. So, what's going to happen now? Does it matter? I don't know if it does. For a lot of these Republican lawmakers,
It doesn't matter.
they say privately that he's unpredictable, he's unfocused, and unhelpful. Normally that would be enough for lawmakers to run for the hills. But the fact of the matter is, he's the president who's going to sign the legislation that they want to pass. He's the person that they, well, if not the exact person, he is the Republican president they've been asking for 8 years. And for them, he is, in some ways, he needs to enact on the legislative agenda, but he's also the key to a portion of the electorate they just don't understand. They don't know how to talk about it. That is a very important point, Kelsey. Kelsey Snell of the Washington Post, Ron Allen, and the Hills Milestone. Guys, thank you very much. Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th. Joining me now, former chair of the DNC, former governor of Vermont, and an MSNBC contributor, Howard Dean. And with me on set, Republican strategist Susan Del Percio, who is my birthday best friend. Susan, I'm so happy to see you. Howard, I'm happy to see you as well via satellite. I want to pick up on what Kelsey was just saying. He unlocks a key to the electorate that they just don't understand. And I think that's spot on. There was a portion of the electorate that Donald Trump was able to excite and bring out, people who were low-capacity voters, people who didn't seem to care, and make them go out and get excited to vote for him, and also to stand by him no matter what. Is ultimately the issue that Republicans are facing. They don't want to cross this group of voters, because if they do, they're doomed for any majority they want, and potentially doomed for a presidency down the line.
Well, that is one side of it. The other side is that they also know that those voters are not committed to them. Any senator or member of Congress who's a Republican, even if Donald Trump did 80% of their business, they're not committed to the individual elected official. They're committed to Donald Trump, and that's what they're afraid of. That's what they don't understand. They're also concerned as they move forward on the legislative agenda is that Donald Trump can change his mind at any given time. He may decide he wants to work with Democrats across the aisle and leave them in the dust. Yeah. He will do whatever works for Donald Trump, and they don't know how to make it up.
There were Democrats that are working with him, though. Howard, you have a lot of people on the left who are apoplectic right now, who cannot believe the President of the United States is somebody who would tweet something like this, and Bobby Snyder, a reporter, cannot believe that the
Just
President of the
spraying
United States is not making any effort whatsoever to expand his base, to reach out to those who don't agree with him. Cannot believe that the President of the United States, who fired the FBI director and then bragged about on television how he fired him because he was thinking about the Russia investigation. They cannot believe that they have a President of the United States who would get into an office with the Russians and reveal classified information. They cannot believe that they have a president who is not forcefully saying that we are going to hold the Russians accountable and punish them for interfering in our election. There's a lot of anger and there's a lot of frustration on the left-hand side of the aisle. How do they find a way to off-ramp that anger without just sounding like they're ever more alarmist and turning off the base of supporters that so vehemently believes in Donald Trump?
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter if they turn off the supporters that believe in Donald Trump, because they believe in Donald Trump no matter what he does, obviously. Secondly, we're not talking about the left. We're talking about a whole lot of people in the middle, and that's where the danger of Trump is. The left can say anything they want. The left isn't going to support him no matter what. So, I mean, even if you're a reasonable person, the left would support him, because the left is the left, and the right is the right. The problem here is not to... We've got two what I think are toxic combinations, both for the United States and for the Republicans. First of all, you have a guy who's president who most people don't respect in this country, and certainly they don't respect him around the world. Even the conservative Prime Minister of Australia was caught on tape of their equivalent of the correspondence dinner making fun of Trump, which I can't imagine happening under any other president of the United States, both either Republican or Democrat, certainly not by a conservative Prime Minister. Secondly, the problem they have with the outrageous legislation that's being passed by Mitch McConnell, which is going to strip 23 million people of their health care and save a whole lot of money with Medicaid and turn it over to people like Donald Trump, who
hiccup sound, Janet.
Constituency is somewhere between 29 and 35%. That is not enough to win an election.
Howard, you say the right has been out of step, and that was basically the conventional wisdom during the election, and Donald Trump won, and Republicans won majorities in both the House and the Senate. And you're talking about finding those middle voters that don't agree with the president, this big swath of the country that doesn't respect him, doesn't like him, and doesn't think that he's fit for office. There was a big swath of the country that thought all of those things during the election, but he still won. So there seems to be a disconnect when I look at this, and I hear people say to me on the show, don't worry to those who are in arms about this presidency, that there's enough of the country that will be able to push back and take him out of office. But the reality is, this man has not changed a little bit, even an iota since the election. So if there wasn't going to be a majority of this country that was going to come out and make sure that he wasn't voted in back then, what changes now? What's the difference maker?
First of all, I think a lot of the Trump voters are not the far right nationalists with guns who want to, shoot up the place. Most of the Trump voters are people.
Anyone was defining them that way.
No, but there certainly are some of them that they enter right with a polling ad out there, which really basically made the statement of the white supremacist group. I couldn't believe the ad I saw. So there are far-right people who are crazy for Donald Trump. That is not the majority of Trump voters. I think the majority of Trump voters, certainly some of them I've talked to, simply wanted a real change and didn't think Hillary was going to be the candidate of change, which is accurate. I personally think Hillary, I personally think Hillary was a great president, but that's not where enough electoral votes that agreed with my position. Now what Trump has done, and I think the right wing of the Republican Party has done with the repeal of Obamacare, is to alienate all those people in the middle who look for real change. Well, they got some change, all right. They got to change which is embarrassing to the United States of America, which we all love.
But part of that group that was talking at are also people who still feel the same. They're very unhappy with Donald Trump, but could not have voted for Hillary Clinton. So we probably need to really see where Donald Trump stands after a midterm, after there's an election in between, because that's where a lot of people are. They still won't say, I would rather have voted for Hillary Clinton.
It all comes down to, or it has basically politics, unfortunately. So these doesn't know. Former DNC chair and MSNBC reporter Howard Dean, appreciate it, sir. GOP strategist Susan Dill Garcia, and you can't see you on this Monday. Happy 4th of July, everyone. And Trump's tweets aren't enough to distract voters on the West Coast. They are out today protesting the Senate's GOP health care plan. Remember, California did not vote for Donald Trump. We will be there live, and I'll also speak to Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin about the growing plans to repeal Obamacare now and replace it later. Also, I'll speak to New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's spokesman about the optics of his boss's beach visit after closing St. Beaches.
Driving like shit today.
I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance with Geico. I should take a closer look at Geico.
Geico can help with way more than car insurance. Boats, homes, motorcycles, even umbrella coverage.
This guy's gonna wish he brought his umbrella.
Fire at Will!
I didn't know the guy's name was Will.
Yeah. It's an expression.
You know, Fire at Will? You never heard of that?
Oh, there goes Will.
Hi, Will. It's not his name. Take a closer look at Geico. Freight savings and a whole lot more.
To find your own hotel, just go to Chicago. Type in the
Why can't I put that swing on my driver?
Checkout dates and stuff.
Ah!
Remember, Chicago
Loosen
shows
up.
you all the different prices for the exact same room. Hotel, Chicago.
I have a big stink. I know. Wow, that's crazy.
Grape juice on teddy bear is coming right out.
If you don't
Oh.
this is very hard to clean. Dingy to white is that
OxyClean gets that tough stains out. It's Lumber Liquidators 4-day summer project sale. Bamboo and pre-finished hardwood are up to 33% off. Take an extra 10% off select laminate, vinyl plank, and wood-look tile. More from 59 cents and special financing. Lumber Liquidators summer project sale ends Tuesday.
Carfax.com. Showing videos with no reported accidents.
love it.
Show me Carfax. Your news are search at the all-new Carfax.com.
You owe money to the IRS that had over $18,000 in accident. You can't imagine this money coming back. You would have sleepless nights, the anxiety, probably worse. Then Chris called Optima Tax Relief. And once Optima took over, I got my life. The stress was just over. It was gone.
in the free consultation. Call 1-800-527-6132. 1-800-527-6132.
It's great stories from great storytellers.
You like to look good.
Headlines before they go to print. There's been added some great reporting to tomorrow's questions before anyone's asked them. Could you make a construction case?
I think I could.
Tomorrow's conversation tonight. Who is there to stand up to the boss and speak truth to power? Not a single person. The 11th hour of Burn Please. Another example night
There we go.
more than you gave it was.
Oh, come on.
It will be. How does this end? The 11th hour. Weeknights at 11 on MSNBC.
In California, hundreds of people were gathering to protest Republican efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare. California Senator Kamala Harris is joining activists and healthcare workers outside a Los Angeles area medical center. They're calling on Congress to fix the law instead of cutting Medicaid and potentially causing millions of Americans to lose their healthcare coverage. NBC's Steve Patterson joins us live from the site of the rally in Torrance, California. That's just south of LA. Steve, we talked to you last hour. There was a lot of emotion about mothers worried about their children. What else do you hear?
And you know, Katie, I think when you watch the coverage out of DC, it sounds something like a topic, an issue, a concept. When you come here, this is real for people. We're talking about 22 million people with that CBO rating. 5 million of those people are right here in California. And I guarantee you there are dozens in this crowd of hundreds. We're going to walk back. We're also talking to patients worried about losing their basic protections and rights, talking to doctors who are literally worried about the mortality of their patients. One of them is behind me, Daniela Delgado. She's joining me right now, medical doctor in this area. Daniela, can you tell us why you came out today, what you're signing about, and why you're here?
Sure. So my sign says all forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane, and that's why Dr. Matthew Luther King. So in essence, I came out here. There are many. One is because healthcare is a human right, it's not a privilege, and there's millions of people who are going to lose their insurance if the Affordable Care Act gets dismantled and if the new bill passes. So I think that for us as physicians, I see this every day in clinic and hospital, those people who were able to get on the ACA and now the insurance, they get preventative care. And this new bill not only affects a lot of people, it also affects emergency services, it affects a lot of mental health services. So we're going to lose a lot of the preventative things that we have achieved, and now we're going to have people more sick.
Are your patients scared? Do you have patients coming into the office?
I'm so scared. I mean, we are scared as doctors, knowing that things are going to get so much worse.
Damn it.
And healthcare right now, it's not perfect. There's so much work that we need to do, and just making it worse, it's very difficult. Yes.
Daniela, thank you so much for joining us. All right, take care. Thank you. So again, you hear the fear from the doctors, not only patients, but doctors worried about those patients who are now coming in telling their doctors they're scared about losing their coverage, their care, and their basic right to health care. Kate?
Steve Patterson, thank you very much for bringing us those real voices outside the Beltway. I appreciate it. And as you just saw, Senate Democrats are standing their ground as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell tries to figure out a way forward. A few of his Republican colleagues are trying to bring back the idea of repeal first and then replace later. So the president back late last week.
I'd like to say, let's do the reveal, then let's try to get 60.
The fuck is that?
So let's bring everybody into the room. Let's do this full-time, 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. Let's cancel the August state work period, and let's do it in full public view.
Joining me now, Congressman Lee Zeldin, a Republican from New York. So, Congressman, thank you for joining us. Happy 4th of July. First question, repeal first, delay. Is that a good idea? Repeal and then find a replacement later?
Well, the option could potentially end up working. I don't think that's plan A amongst most people in Congress right now negotiating the repeal and replace. But in the Senate, you have to get to at least 51 votes as far as budget reconciliation. So as the Senate finds it a little more difficult to go that plan A of repeal and replace, they start looking at other options. And that is an option that could potentially have worked.
How is your New York constituents do you fear backlash among your vote?
Well, we just heard one testimonial from someone out in LA at that rally. I also hear testimonial stories on the other side. I really like driving to the studio. I received someone sent me a letter dated June 30th about GHI pulling out the individual market in New York. So liberals and conservatives, Republicans and Democrats, everyone who cares about healthcare, we're hearing the stories from the people who say get rid of the ACA to other people who say keep it all in between. This is personally impacting a whole lot of people. So I've been hearing from people for a long time, including today.
Are you hearing from people who actually have health care right now say to you that it's fine to repeal it, I don't mind losing my health care for as long as it takes Republicans to figure out how they're going to replace it?
Well, I mean, if you dig deeper into the CBO report, the short answer is no. But if you dig deeper into the CBO report, they talk about a whole lot of people, millions of people not having insurance because you're repealing the individual mandate. And then as you get a few years down the road, as certain changes to Medicaid are taking place, the CBO ends up predicting changes then. Now, the CBO report only looks at this one bill, doesn't factor in anything that's within the power of Secretary Price or any other type of legislation that can get done. But as far as the stories that I hear, there are people who say that they don't want to lose their insurance, but as you apply their particular situation, my constituents, to the legislation that's being passed, the impact isn't on them. The impact is on people who will choose not to purchase insurance because the government's not telling them to. And down the road, the changes to Medicaid aren't for people who are on Medicaid right now. The changes primarily are for new enrollees a few years down the road.
Medicaid expansion, which is supposed to be taking place across this country in a number of states, Medicaid expansion that will help them pay for essential services. Without that expansion, and basically it ends up being a cut, many people will lose access and lose the coverage that they currently enjoy. And maybe there's somebody who's healthy at the moment, but what if that person walks into the doctor's office and finds out that they didn't know at the time that actually has stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 cancer? What happens to them?
Well, a really important point to what you were asking about is that with the legislation that the House passed, anyone who is on Medicaid as part of that expansion population, anyone who signs up by 2020 as part of that expansion population, the federal government continues to pay 90%, the enhanced FMAP, the 90% in perpetuity. It only impacts new enrollees who are not yet signed on to Medicaid until after 2020. So for someone who's currently part of the expansion population, the federal government continues at 90%. I would go one step further too and say that we should have the same formula for everyone who's on Medicaid, because as we saw in Maine, is that when you have a normal FMAP of 50%, federal funding is 50%, the states and in some cases the municipalities picking up the other 50%. But then you also have for the lower end of the Medicaid population, and then the higher end of the Medicaid population, you have a 90% federal contribution and 10% state and local. What ends up happening is that when the state needs to save money in Medicaid, they're actually cutting from the lower end of Medicaid, not the higher end, because that is where the state pays the higher share of costs. So I would argue, I would strongly advocate to any of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle that we should have one formula across the board for the lower end of Medicaid and the higher end.
Congressman, put this on hold a moment. I want to ask you, since you're here, about the president's tweets. What do you think of his description of that CNN body slamming tweet as modern-day presidential?
Well, yeah, I would say it's modern-day something. I don't know if I wouldn't use the word presidential. There are a lot of tweets that the president does put out. Some were highlighted here on the show just a little while ago. Tweets put out today where it's the president being modern-day presidential and using social media to advocate on behalf of a child, advocating or talking about his foreign policy work and some of the economic priorities and good work. So that I would call modern-day presidential. What I would call modern day presidential is the clip that you're showing right now. There is a battle going on right now between the President of the United States and there are people within the media who are trying to take him down. But somehow they're going to have to, everyone's going to have to up their game and work this out.
Congressman, do you believe that? Do you believe the members of the media are trying to take down the president and that the president's fine by, do you believe that? Do you think we're trying to take him down? Or are we just trying to hold him accountable for the things that he says and the promises that he makes and the inconsistencies and the firing of the FBI director and saying it's because of the Russia investigation and then not coming out and saying Russia happened to the election? Do you believe the media is trying to take him down, or are we just reporting facts that this White House doesn't like? And if so, is it appropriate for the president to come out and attack reporters and advocate violence against us, which is essentially what that is doing?
And as I just pointed out, I wasn't painting the entire media with a broad brush. There are people in the media who earn the Emmy Awards, who earn the Pulitzer Prizes for investigative journalism, for doing the good work. And my constituents can come in contact with a story that they might see on the network or an article they might read in the paper, and they are getting the news, they're getting both sides, they can form an independent judgment. But at the same time, the website will not paint everyone with a broad brush. I can't also paint everyone with a broad brush as far as individuals who are focused on doing that great work. Because so much of the media too, and this is, I'm not making any excuses for taking aside and trying to answer your question, but there are aspects of the media where when you're an editor on a website, you're trying to post a headline that will get the maximum amount of hits and clicks because sponsorships come with it, or if you're a certain part of a programming. So right now, you're asking questions, I get an opportunity to answer, to have it back and forth, but there are other shows that have a little bit more editorial content than what we're having right now, and what is selling is when emotion ends up getting stirred and certain things end up getting said that would be on the media side. So there's places where the President of the United States can set a great example for my kids and their generation, where we have children saying, I want to be the President of the United States when I get older, or I want to be a journalist when I get older. So I'm not going to paint everyone with a broad brush. I would just say that there are many opportunities for everyone to do a little bit better. Not taking anything away from those who are in elected office or involved in government who are doing great work, and those who are in the media doing great work.
Is this president a role model for your kids?
Well, in many ways, he's absolutely looking out for them. He's looking out for their security, the security of our country.
Do you want your kids to act like the President of the United States? Do you want them to get on Twitter and say things that he says on Twitter?
If my kids were the President of the United States and they were on Twitter and they were looking for my advice, I would be pointing to those tweets that are presidential. I would not be pointing to the tweet from yesterday saying this is what your social media account should look like. Fortunately, when they get older, I hope that they're listening to advice from mom and dad. But if they were President of the United States and they gave me the opportunity to weigh in on their Twitter account, I would be pointing to content that's talking about issues, it's talking about policy, what you've done, what you're working on, and how you're fighting for America. Because the people who voted for the president, there are a lot of people who are struggling to make ends meet. They want a job. Some people have a job, but they're not making enough. People concerned about healthcare or improving trade policy or strengthening our infrastructure. That's really what the bulk of the people who voted for him last November want to know. A whole lot of people who didn't vote for the president last November will say, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but he's my president. Just like I didn't vote for Barack Obama, but he was my president. So there are people who didn't vote for him who would rather see him spend the maximum amount of time just working on those issues to make America, to address all those obstacles and to make America better.
You can fight for your voters, you can fight for this country, you can do so certainly without showing a picture or a video of you symbolically standing a national news outlet and attacking the fourth estate. I think that's probably a reasonable thing to do. Republican New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, thank you very much for joining us today, and happy 4th of July again.
Happy 4th to you.
It must be nice to be governor. Your state's government is shut down. You can close state beaches to your own people, but not for yourself or for your family. So you get the sand all to yourself on a holiday weekend. Christie says don't blame him. He's ready to reopen just as soon as the state passes a budget.
Right now, I've got no choices to make. They're not presenting
Oh, this is problem.
Not down. It's
What did I do?
in body, in spirit, in the now. Boost High Protein. It's intelligent nutrition with 15 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. For when you need a little extra. Boost, the #1 high-protein complete nutritional drink. Be up for it.
I'm a concrete mason. I own my own company. I had some severe fatigue, some funny rashes. Finally, listening to my wife, went to a doctor, and I became diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. That diagnosis was tough, and I could put my trust in somebody.
When I first met Steve, we recommended chemotherapy, and then we did high-dose therapy and then autologous stem cell transplant. Unfortunately, he went on to have progressive disease. I thought that he would be a good candidate for immune therapy. It's an intravenous medicine that is going to make his immune system evade the tumor.
With chemotherapy, the health from fatigue, nauseous, and with immune therapy, we've had such a positive result. I'm back to working hard. I honestly never felt this great.
I believe the future of immunotherapy at CTCA is very bright.
The evolution of cancer care is here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Get away. Get home away. Get home away from spending time with other people's kids. Get home away from it all. Book the whole house at homeaway.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse, and I'm back. We started
Horse fairway, baby. Needed that bounce.
Our fresh daily contacts are affordable and delivered straight to you. Daily contacts, first 2 weeks free.
Be the you who doesn't cover your moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Be the you who shows up in that dress, who hugs a friend, who is done with treatments that don't give you clear skin. Be the you who controls your psoriasis with Stellara. Just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Stellara may lower your ability to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections and cancer. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before treatment, get tested for tuberculosis. Before starting Stellara, tell your doctor if you think you have an infection or have symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Always tell your doctor if you have any signs of infection, like cancer, if you develop any new skin growths, or if anyone in your house needs or has recently received the vaccine. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal condition. Some serious allergic reactions may occur. Do not take Stellara if you are allergic to Stellara or any of its ingredients.
Most people using Stellara saw 75% clearer skin, and the majority were rated as clear or minimal at 12 weeks. Be the you who talks to your dermatologist about Stellara.
We want to fill you in on some breaking news right out of Boston. Look live at an accident near Boston's Logan Airport where a car slammed into a taxi stand. There are reports of several people injured.
No way I hit that hard enough.
Confirm that. Law enforcement sources tell CNBC this was an accident and it does not appear to be terror related. Those same sources say the driver is cooperating with police. We will keep an eye out on this for you and bring you the latest as it happens. To New Jersey now. Remember when Governor Chris Christie had this message back in 2011 before Hurricane Irene?
Get the hell off the beach in Asbury Park and get out. You're done. It's 4:30. You've maximized your tan. Get off the beach.
Well, now many people have that same message for him. Hours after a state government shutdown led to the closure of all state parks and beaches, the governor was spotted with his family enjoying the sun and the sand at a state-owned retreat in Island Beach State Park. Christie said this a short time after that.
No, it didn't, Claude, but go ahead. I didn't get any sun for that.
The governor's spokesman then made this point later, quote, he did not get any sun, he had a baseball hat on. Now Governor Christie is letting people know that there are plenty of beaches to go around this holiday weekend. He tweeted this morning, New Jersey beaches are open in 119 of our 130 miles of coastline. And in the last hour, another beautiful day at the Jersey Shore. Our beaches are open and full of people. Joining me now, Governor Chris Christie's spokesman, Brian Murray. Brian, thank you very much for joining us. I think the first question is, the optics of this doesn't look good at all for the governor, does it?
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's optics. It's a photograph.
are a couple of photographs that were taken of a governor with his family on the beach. Not much of a scandal there when you consider 119 miles of the coast are open, they're packed with people. We're talking about 2 beaches that have been closed, not because the governor closed them personally, but because we don't have a budget provided to us from the legislature for him to sign. And he's ready to sign. And every day, he's been in Trenton, we've held press conferences to say, send us a budget, we'll sign it. We have not received a budget yet. Additionally, he's also convened a call for an assembly of the legislature. The assembly members, some of them show up, many of them don't. So you can't force them to act. You can't wave a magic wand and make a budget appear on his desk. He's offered one budget. He's ready to sign that. They have provided, or most Democrats have provided a second budget, but it's being held up by the Assembly Speaker.
Right.
He's ready to sign that one as well.
Brian, if this is all copacetic, why did the governor not just say, yeah, I got to report asking about it?
Because since Monday now, on his monthly radio show, and at multiple press conferences since, he's been telling everybody that he will be at the beach house, the governor's residence at the beach, this weekend.
So why did you say yes, I got some sun? You very clearly got some sun.
Because they didn't ask, are you on the beach? They asked, did you get some sun? And he was on the beach for 45 minutes and back in Trenton that day. So, no.
When you responded by saying he didn't get any sun, he was wearing a baseball hat.
Yeah, that was not to you, Katie, and it was not to anybody in the national media. It was the one reporter. But it was part of a total exchange where I was being smart alecky with him and he was being smart alecky with me.
Okay.
And he put it in. By the way it read, I believe on NJ.com, seemed to indicate it was a little lighthearted. They weren't indicating that was the response.
So if you think this is just optics, fine, I'll accept that premise. Maybe it's just optics. The governor has a 15% approval rating, Brian. 15%. If it is just optics, he's giving off the optics, according to a lot of folks in your state, that he just doesn't care anymore. Is that a good idea? Well, this governor, he's got a 15% approval rating to show that, to make it look like to the public of his state that he just doesn't care.
As the governor said when he was above 65% popularity in the 70s, that he didn't believe it then, and it's 15% now. He doesn't believe that now. But let's talk about what's really going on here. A state shutdown because of one individual, one leader in the assembly refusing to allow his members to vote on a bill. Now think of that. 30 to 35,000 people are furloughed today because of one person refusing to allow fellow Democrats to come in and vote on a particular bill that is key to the budget that the Democrats want to pass.
You know,
and the governor is ready to sign it.
I know that the governor
or his proposed budget, which is a lower spending plan. That one too. Send it to the governor, he will sign it, he will be back.
Brady wants to sign it, but I mean, don't you need to, as the governor of the state, look as if you are working as hard as you can to make sure that the state is running properly? And I'm going
that he needs to look like he's doing. He is doing something. And he does something every day.
Why do you think he's got such a low approval rating on this state? It's a 20-year record for no governor in any state has had an approval rating that low in 20 years across the country. It's the lowest approval rating.
65%.
It's the lowest approval rating that is ever in the
Polls don't matter at this point. He's not running for anything. He's not running for anything. We have a gubernatorial race this year. He's not in. He's maxed out. He's done his 2 terms, and he plans to continue doing his 2 terms. We have other candidates running. We have the full legislature running this year. It's an election year in New Jersey.
It's election year in New Jersey. What's he doing after this? Who's going to want to take on Governor Chris Christie with his formerly 15% approval rating and who sat on the beach and made it appear as if he didn't care according to
See if he gets hired someplace else. As you said the other day, he would like to make some money for once.
He's been in public service.
But doesn't that make it seem like he doesn't really care about leading the state? He'd like to make some money for us. Yeah, I'm not the governor's
leading the state.
yeah, I'm going to the beach. I didn't get any sun, but now I'm
You're
wearing a
using
hat.
to simply base this opinion on. You're using some photographs about a man on the beach with his family. That's a scandal.
Brian,
By the way, that beach is closed 365 days out of the year. That particular segment of beach is part of the governor's residence. He was on the beach for 45 minutes, came back to work in Trenton. By the way, he was in Trenton before that. In Trenton before the day before that. He's Trenton all week. He's in Trenton today. And he works from home. He works from wherever he is. Everybody knows that Governor Christie is always around. Just follow us, follow his press conferences, follow our press releases, follow his Twitter account. We're going to see. We have to find out what the Democrats can present. They're trying to say they had a meeting today at 1 o'clock with Verizon CEO, I believe, looking for a little results out of that, some information. But we may have one today. We just have to play it by ear right now. It's, it's up to the legislature to do us a budget.
Final question. Did the governor
By the way, the beaches are open, Katie, in New Jersey.
Did the governor get some sun that day?
What then?
Did the governor get some sun? I'm going to allow you to answer that question.
Yesterday, he was on the beach for 45 minutes. I'll let you decide.
Well, it's in some sun, I'll say that much.
Oh, come on. Robert.
Anytime, Katie.
Joining me now, columnist and blogger who's covered the so-called Bridgegate scandal. Bob's also the co-author of Chris Christie, the inside story of his rise to power. Bob, take it away.
Dumb bum got Robert.
Yeah, they did.
One of the things that isn't being said here, yes, there are beaches that are open, that are in state parks. But how about the people who plan to be in that particular place, and then find out at the last minute they can't do it? How about the businesses close to that particular place who aren't getting any business now because it's closed down? It really is sort of like a let them eat cake kind of a deal. I think a lot of it has to do with Christie's frustration because he's at 15%.
So your lieutenant governor is coming out against Chris Christie at the beach. She's saying that she wouldn't be at the beach if this was happening. His approval rating right now is at 15%. I mean, if you just want to argue that this is just optics, the optics are not good, especially for a governor who's got such a low approval rating. Is he sending a message to voters in New Jersey, to the people of New Jersey, not voters, the people of New Jersey he represents, that he just doesn't care anymore?
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. He's saying, okay, I'm at 15%. I don't care. I'm governor and you're not. That's what he's saying.
Columnist and author Bob Engel. I'm sorry that I cut you short. I went along with Brian. I was trying to figure out what he meant when he said the governor didn't get his son. We decide, I guess.
I feel for you. I feel for
Red light. Red light, red light. Red wrong, red wrong.
And there's a state-by-state pushback against the president's request for your voter data. So why does he want it? Why are states saying no? And why is the move, and is the move even legal? Even legal. I'm going to learn how to read the prompter and take a day off the 4th of July. How about that? Right answers coming up right after the break.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis like me, and you're talking to a rheumatologist about a medication, this is Humira. This is Humira helping to relieve my pain and protect my joints from further damage. Humira has been clinically studied for over 18 years. Humira works by targeting and helping to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms. It's proven to help relieve pain and stop further joint damage in many adults.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, occurring to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Talk to your doctor and visit Humira.com. This is Humira at work.
Important news from OxyClean White Revive.
The Red Cadillac was on thousands of white diamonds. We were surprised they had
listen to your clothes. Choose Oxyclean White Provide. White and white, guaranteed.
You're searching heaps of websites looking for the best hotel deal. Stop doing that to yourself. Let Trivago do it for you. Trivago compares price to America's best customer at the same time. It's fascinating. Hotel? Trivago.
Having a heart campaign against everything.
Scared of that one?
Drama. It's time to take your life back. If you've been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, bulging herniated discs, sciatica, or other chronic spine conditions, call Laser Spine Institute for your no-cost MRI review. Our experienced, board-certified surgeons have a proven track record of successful minimally invasive spine surgeries. No less than 1-inch incision, be up and walking with the powers of surgery, free for chronic back pain.
The pain was really debilitating. I tried everything that I could, and got to the point where I was thinking maybe I should survive. It's just not really good. But after the operation, the pain was gone. The whole thing was just really desperate.
Back surgery. Call 1-800-254 back now. For a no-cost MRI review.
Laser Spine Institute, less than 1-inch incision, a lifetime of standing tall.
It's no wonder everything seems a little better with the creamy taste of filling. Maybe no artificial preservatives, flavors, or dyes. It must be the filling.
Do you think the president may have obstructed justice?
Our trusted NBC News journalists will guide you through every part.
The world is united in horror after the bombing of Manchester.
So every story
The White House is considering a major shift in strategy.
will be perfect.
Last week, President Trump's voter fraud commission asked all 50 states and Washington, D.C. to hand over personal information about their voters. As of today, many have said no. In most of those states, it's Democratic voting individuals who are pushing back, but Republicans all were going too. Mississippi's Republican Secretary of State responded by saying, quote, they can go jump in the Gulf of Mexico, and Mississippi is a great state to launch from. That's some serious shade. The Trump administration had this response today.
The commission is only asking for publicly available data in every state. So various state laws have various requirements on what can and cannot be released. This is something that states release to political parties and campaigns on a regular basis. So the commission is not asking for anything that's not already out there in the public domain.
Since his election, President Trump has alleged that 3 to 5 million people voted illegally. He has yet to show evidence that backs up that claim. Any evidence whatsoever. That's not this to say voter fraud. That is not to say, excuse me, that doesn't make any sense. That is not to say voter fraud does not exist. No. The Brennan Center for Nonpartisan Public Policy and Law Institute tweeted today that they found a total of 30 cases of possible non-citizens voting. That's it. Just 30 cases. Joining now from Santa Fe, New Mexico's Secretary of State, Maggie Toulouse Oliver. Secretary, thank you very much for joining us. On Friday, you said you wouldn't release some information unless and until I'm convinced the information will not be used for nefarious or unlawful purposes. So has the commission reached out to you about your concern in order to alleviate it?
No, Katie, and in fact, we just got a letter this morning to my office officially requesting the data. And they plan to respond, and they plan to ask a lot of questions back to the commission about what they plan to use this information for and how they're going to secure it.
So if they come back to you and say that they are going to try and demand it, can you just put your foot down and say no? Is that possible for the state or for the federal government to try to force that information out of kids?
Well, I think it would be a huge mistake for them to try to do that, Katie. You know, in Mexico, we have certain laws on the books that protect voters' private identifier information, such as their social security number and their birth date. what they're going to be using that data for. It does raise a lot of questions for me. Well, I have, from the beginning, questioned the purpose of this commission. I think it's essentially a Trojan horse that's going to be used to advance voter suppression around this country. I'm very skeptical, and I think that we can probably guess that based on some of the previous statements of, for example, Vice Chair Kobach and President Trump, that they're going to be trying to do that witch hunt, looking for this, for evidence of this widespread voter fraud that as an election official, especially somebody who ran elections in a county jurisdiction for 10 years, we know it does not exist. Don't tell us the rest of the states have to define. Does your state have something to define? We have absolutely nothing to hide. I want to push back very hard on that criticism. What I am trying to do is protect the private information of the voters in my state, which I'm constitutionally charged with doing. I'm trying to protect their privacy, and I'm trying to protect the integrity of the election process. I do not want to participate in a witch hunt that is going to further cast aspersions on the integrity of our elections in this country.
We're not seeing any evidence of widespread voter fraud. DHS and PC officials say 21 states were targets of cyber intrusion and voter manipulation during the 2016 election. There's no administration regarding that and regarding making sure that the elections go along with that edge and that our systems and states are not interfered with.
Well, I think that's a really good point. And for me personally, this election integrity commission, we're interested in looking into this very real issue that we know really happened. We know that Russia attempted to hack voter registration databases. We know that Russia did try to do things to interfere with elections in the 2016 general election. So I think it would be really important if this commission wanted to pursue looking into how we can continue to protect our voter registration systems and our other election systems from potential hacking. That seems to be a really good use of this commission's potential time, rather than casting aspersions and going on witch hunts and voter data.
Secretary of State Becky with the great state of New Mexico. Thank you very much for joining us.
Woo! That seems good.
And after the break, we have one more thing for you. You learned New Jersey beaches and people aren't letting Governor Christie off all that easy.
Hello, my baby.